Welcome to the Voice of the Victim podcast. My name's Ryan.
And I'm Rosie.
How are you doing tonight, Rosie?
I'm good. I actually went to the Van Gogh immersive exhibit today.
Oh, that's right.
I think many people maybe have heard of it. It's been on like Instagram ads and stuff like that, and it's all over the country. So cool.
It looked pretty awesome.
It was
based
a
on
good
the
time.
photos. Very immersive. I was a little jealous of
Very immersive. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing good. It's starting to cool off a little bit. Well, it's almost 80 right now, but that's better than 90, so.
Oh, no, it's been lovely. It's lovely. Okay.
You have taken the lead once again and wrote the outline this week.
I have.
So I have no idea what we're talking about, but I am looking forward to your story.
All right. Well, tonight we are talking about Amanda Michelle Todd. This was actually a pretty big case.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Well, not quite 10 years ago, like 8 years ago.
I think someone has requested this in the past or something. I know,
really?
like, this is one I've started researching and just never finished.
Okay.
But, yeah, it sounds really familiar.
Well, Amanda Todd was born on November 27th, 1996. She lived in Port Coquitlam, BC, Canada. And I am 98% sure I said that right.
Nice. Is that near Victoria?
I don't know if... Well, I'm assuming so, because BC is super small. But it is east of Vancouver.
How's it spelled?
That helps you. C-O-Quit-L-A-M.
I just want to see where it is in relation. Did you say BC is really small?
Isn't it? British Columbia
Dude, nothing
small?
in Canada is small.
Okay.
British Columbia is literally the size of half the U.S.
Oh, well, I guess...
Like, if you look at the map.
I'm mistaken. Maybe I'm just thinking specifically of Victoria.
Oh, so it's like a suburb of Vancouver, pretty much? Mm-hmm. A little bit northeast of Victoria.
And Ryan's wondering about Victoria because that's where we partially spent our honeymoon.
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty close to the Washington border.
Cool. So Amanda's parents were named Carol and Norm. She lived in a very loving home. Although her parents did split up when she was a child, she was able to have a very secure and normal childhood. The neighborhood that she grew up in was beautiful, really the ideal place to raise a family. As a small child, Amanda was into hockey, singing, dancing, and gymnastics. She was very creative, but also painfully shy at times. Norm, her father, described young Amanda as a firecracker with a big spirit.
Sounds like you.
But as she got older, she was diagnosed with ADHD and very self-conscious.
Oh, wow.
She started getting very anxious, quiet, and also had a hard time being around other kids her age. Now, although she had such a hard time with other kids and being around them in social settings, she loved being in the spotlight in front of the camera.
Man, a lot in common with her so far.
You do?
Yeah. Well, the ADHD thing and the...
camera part?
Yeah.
Well, Amanda was very good at making little videos, just like you.
Wow. I hope she's not the bad guy.
No. And she also likes singing, so she would post little videos of her singing different songs and post them on YouTube.
Very
it was like her
interesting.
thing. In Pitt River Middle School, around grade 7, things seemed to change. Now, Ryan, I don't know about you, but 7th grade for me was probably one of the worst years in my childhood.
Yes.
I think that middle school usually is the toughest chunk of schoolhood.
It's like a transition from kid to teen.
Yeah, everyone is like going through a lot of stuff with their bodies, and people are super insecure, and I just felt like you made fun of anybody around you just so that the spotlight would be taken off of yourself and focused on somebody else.
Yeah, well, I think there were certain people who made fun of others, and then there were certain people who got made fun of.
And just tried to
hide. For me, at least.
Yeah. Well, and like for me, it's like when my braces were off finally, and my hair grew back from a devastating haircut, and my eyebrows were waxed for the first time. So, like personally, in 7th grade, I started getting a lot of male attention and ran with it in a bad way. So, like, guys would just flirt with me and get handsy, and I assumed that was going to make me more cool and popular.
And give you
more status.
Nicknames.
Yeah. And, like, get bullied if you try to stand up for yourself. How did 7th grade go for you?
Well, I think that was the year that kid bit my arm.
Oh, that's neat.
I think I talked about that in my personal story. I don't know if I mentioned the arm biting part.
I don't remember hearing about it.
But that was all at the same time as like the ball where he was gonna. I took the ball away from him before he threw it at someone, and then he beat me up.
Yeah, so I think most people could say that middle school is pretty rough.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think pretty much everyone made fun of me until high school.
Sad. I didn't mean for this part to get so deep.
Oh, sorry.
Well, just keeping that in mind so we remember what 7th grade is like for Amanda's sake. She's moody. She's
Especially
going through
when
some
she's
stuff.
like the introverted creative person. They always get made fun of.
Right. So when she asked for a webcam at age 12 in the 7th grade, Carol, her mom, instantly said no. Carol said there was no reason for a 7th grader to have a webcam. In fact, it was inappropriate. The two fought about it every day, all day, and eventually Amanda moved in with her father, asking him if she could get a webcam. Now, Norm felt completely opposite about it. Norm said that it was a stage for his daughter to perform on, actually a quote-unquote arena for her to be creative and let loose. It was a way for her to express herself.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can see both parents' side here. Like, obviously, 7th grade is pretty young to be putting yourself out on the internet. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, if you have creative passions and dreams, I mean, the internet was an awesome gateway for so many people to be discovered and make a career out of their art. So
maybe if your parents, I'd be more on Carol's side and you'd be more on Norm's.
Well, I think the parents need to monitor it closely.
Right.
Like, let her follow her passions, but monitor her activity.
Well, and it's funny that you say that because Norm saw no harm from it. In fact, he had her password to her laptop and her computer, and he said that he would patrol her history in the chat logs. And he said that there was always a trail online anyways that you could follow, so he didn't see the problem. He also had a rule that at bedtime, laptop needed to be closed and turned off.
What do you mean a trail that they could follow?
I mean, quote unquote, there's a trail. That's what he said. I'm assuming what he means is like the laptop history tab.
Oh,
remember that?
Gotcha.
That
okay, this is like a direct quote then.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, when I read or listen to his comments about it, I'm thinking, really, Norm? You aren't even going to make her put the laptop on the kitchen table before bed?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that doing that would stop a kid from grabbing it when his or her parents are asleep. It didn't for me, but still.
Well, it's a lot. I mean, every single night, it's a lot for parents to remember, I think. Like, they have all their own stuff going on, and then to, like, be like, oh, yeah, leave your laptop down here, you know.
True. Well, Amanda was like me in that her online chats proved that she would fake going to bed, pretending to close up the laptop and put it on her desk, and right when the bedroom door closed, she got right back on that bad boy.
I also did this, so you know.
I think most kids probably did.
Yeah.
She even said to one of her friends online that she was always trying to stay one step ahead. Now, the website of choice that she was mostly on was called Blog TV on Facebook. I personally have no idea what Blog TV is or was.
Me neither.
We're talking about the time period of like 2010s.
Oh, wow. So this was when I was graduated. This is when I was very active on YouTube on my old channel. You know?
Yeah.
So I was like in the same boat as her.
Well, she's 12 and she was born in 1997.
Oh, she was 12 at this point?
At this point, yeah.
I forgot how young 7th graders are, okay?
Yeah.
That's wild. Okay.
And the point of...
Burrito wants to get out.
Oh. Let me just do that really quick here. Thanks, bud.
Bye. All right.
So polite. The point of Blog TV on Facebook was just to get to know other people your age around the world, which, you know, in theory is pretty cool. You could do just about anything. You could chat or perform, ask for advice, date, flirt, whatever.
Yeah, for adults, it's great.
Yeah. Now, two of Amanda's friends Shyla and Tessa recall having sleepovers with Amanda and messing around on Blog TV. They remember flirting with some guys, and some being really innocent, some just chatting about school, but they also remember some real creeps asking to meet them in person. Shyla and Tessa talked about how obsessed Amanda seemed with being online on this website. In fact, she would crave the validation from these strangers and start to base her own self-worth on how many views and how many likes she was getting on her live streams and videos.
Oh.
And Tessa and Shyla said it was fun and scary because you could say anything about yourself, but you could also edit yourself. Amanda said people would tell her she was beautiful, stunning, and talented. What were you trying to say?
It's a scary mode to get into, basing your self-worth or like your happiness on that kind of number that is never going to be consistent and always changing.
Right.
I mean, I've done that in the past, and it's like it doesn't ever lead anywhere good.
Yeah, there's actually videos of Amanda messing around with her webcam, and I don't know if she realizes that it's recording her, but she's literally just staring at herself through the webcam for like an hour, making different faces and poses, like just completely immersed. And it's very like,
oh, that's
like,
a scary
girl,
side
let's get out.
Of like cameras. Like,
yeah,
up until really nice mirrors were invented, people never even saw their own face, you know? And now we live in this generation where people are constantly staring at themselves. I was just watching this on this YouTube video earlier about people literally stopping traffic, standing in crosswalks, posing with someone taking pictures of them for their social influencer pages. Mm-hmm. Literally in front of a city bus, this lady was walking around with her really expensive dog, and a guy was laying on the street taking pictures of her. I was like, what is going on? It's such an unhealthy way to live life, being so vain. But
yeah.
I mean, there's a balance, and it's definitely hard to strike that balance. So, it's the mindset, you know. That's what it's all about. Because you can do stuff like this, live streaming. I mean, that's what we're doing right now. Mm-hmm. But you don't even have the live view of yourself. Like,
right, I don't. Even...
And I think it's a good thing to not care what you are on the screen. Just be yourself, because that's what people see in person anyway. But, like, it's the mindset behind it that really makes it into a problem. And I was just going to compare that to an eating disorder. Because it's the same thing. An eating disorder is less about the actual actions you're taking, and it's more about the way you see food and the way you see your self-image. It's a self-image problem. It's not as much like an eating problem, at least for me.
And I think that she was addicted at this point. I mean, she is 12. She's a preteen. She's like, I just feel like teenagers and preteens have such a hard time doing things in a healthy way. Like, they get overly involved or under involved.
Oh, yeah.
She's making videos every day, if not every other day, like constantly making content, constantly live streaming and meeting these new people, these strangers on the internet.
That's the danger of getting into that when you're a kid, is you don't have any other responsibilities in your life, so you can focus on that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I was with music growing up. It was like the center of my life, the focus of my life, because, you know, I didn't have any adult responsibilities. I didn't know what the real world was going to be like.
Sure.
You know.
So one night on Blog TV, Amanda was live streaming herself. She had over 150 people. I heard from different sources 200. So we'll put it in that number, that ballpark.
Somewhere in there.
And she's using the username Cutie Lover. That's what she would go by. At this point, Amanda is completely immersed with her online world. She's eating up the attention. She's getting flooded with compliments and suggestions for what she should do next. I mean, what young teen wouldn't be, you know, taking in all this positive, it's not, but this attention. Mm-hmm. But on this day, Amanda's life was changed. When asked probably numerous times, Amanda decided to lift up her shirt and flash her audience. Now, when she was 12? Yeah, on live stream. Hello, guys. This is a little disclosure from future Rosie, talking to then Rosie. Ryan pointed out to me ever so lovingly that I may have gotten my ages mixed up for Amanda.
Well, that's what the articles you were reading said.
Yeah.
Is that she was 12.
Right.
But she was born November 27th, 1996, and the story starts in 2010. So there's no way she was 12.
So I don't know how that happened.
What was the date that this all started? It was like around Christmas 2010?
Well, she had asked for her webcam. I could have sworn 2010 was the number I was getting for pretty much everything. For the start.
Maybe she got her webcam when she was 12.
So I just wanted to be upfront about that I'm sorry. I don't know how that got mixed up, and I'm still confused. But anyways, thank you guys for understanding. And if you don't understand, then I'm sorry that I made you mad.
Yep.
She ended her chat, didn't think too much of it. Shortly after, during Christmas break in 2010, the police arrived at Norm's house at 4 a.m. Amanda was shocked, didn't know what was going on. It turns out that one of Amanda's friends told their parents about this photo that they had received on Facebook, and it was linked with, it had a link, and if you clicked on it, it led to a porn site. Somebody on this live stream had freeze framed the footage and took a screenshot of Amanda topless.
So, this all went down in the middle of the night?
Well, the parent's child who had received this photo, the child complained to their parents, must have been woken up by their phone notification and got a little shook up.
Okay.
Told their parents, and the parents contacted the police immediately because they were worried about Amanda's safety. They didn't know where she was or what was going on.
I was just thinking of, like, from her parents' perspective, like the panic at 4 a.m. if the police show up, you're like,
right,
panic. But yeah, I guess if it all went down then.
So it turns out that somebody under the name Tyler Boo had captured this image by freeze framing it. Tyler Boo messaged her saying that he had recorded her for the past few hours and had this topless photo.
Was he the one, like, instigating it too, trying to get her to do it?
Right, yeah. He threatened her that if she didn't give him 3 shows, then the photo was going to be posted everywhere. Now, in the moment when he was messaging her this, she was just like, no, get out of here. Like, what are you talking about? He said, just 3 shows and this will all go away. What's the big deal?
Yeah, you can really trust his word.
Now, again, Amanda refused, telling him absolutely not, and instantly this photo was uploaded to a porn website. The link and photo was sent to all of Amanda's Facebook friends, including her mom, Carol. So this guy had information on her. Did not know how, like, who he is, but
It's like he was planning it for a long time.
He's got some in.
Ugh.
Carol remembers seeing the photo and being in complete shock. She said to an interviewer what she thought first was, what is this? Where did it come from? What's happening? Who did this? And those were just a few of her first questions to come to mind. I just think one tiny choice, something that she felt somewhat pressured to do. I mean, I don't think she would just flash her breasts for no reason. Mm-hmm. She had no idea that anyone was going to capture this moment. Maybe didn't even know it was possible to freeze frame it. She had no idea what the consequences would be. But this mystery person was going to make her life a living hell for the next couple of years to come.
Years?
Keeping on with the pressure that she needs to perform 3 shows to stop the harassment.
He already let the picture out. What else does he have on her?
Well,
it's scary, though, that he had all of the people around her's information. He was able to do this. I mean, we live stream sometimes together. And
right.
we know, like, when you're on a live stream, you are in a heightened state, adrenaline.
Right.
You're not thinking through all your actions. You're just kind of on.
Right.
So things happen in a flow state. So I can see how a kid would be able to be coerced into this while...
Especially at 12.
Yeah. Like, she doesn't know any better. Or, like, she doesn't realize that if you have people watching you on a live stream, someone's probably recording. Mm-hmm. Ugh.
So, yeah, there isn't much information, or there wasn't, about this person at this point in the story. Amanda thought maybe it was somebody that she knew that was in her friend circle that just wasn't telling her what's going on. This Tyler Boo had befriended Amanda a year prior, and from strangers they became friends. Wow. And he had been pushing Amanda to show her breasts for about a year or so. And for some reason that evening, with that big crowd of people, that was the breaking point. So remember, Amanda had been already struggling with her ADHD and her anxiety around other people. So when she heard the news about her picture being circulated on the internet, she spiraled into a depression and a constant state of panic. She just felt haunted by what she had done and how anybody could find that photo of her. This is weird. Carol, her mom, remembers getting a Facebook message from a stranger on Christmas Eve. I remember this all came out on Christmas break. We know that this is Tyler Boo now that was messing with her. Oh. But this person was going by a fake name. The message said that Amanda needed to be stopped because it was mostly old guys that were watching her and recording her. And they are going to blackmail her into doing more.
And this was the guy?
Yeah, but he was going under the profile name Alice McAllister. And he claimed that, or she, at this point, claimed to be part of a watch group for young teens in trouble, quote unquote, he was active for an online child protection group.
Ugh. This is scary because, as my other YouTube channel grows, I'm coming in contact with a lot of people and all I see is their screen name.
Right.
And there's no way to know who's actually behind that name. It's just,
right.
Like, you can't really trust anyone unless you're talking to them face to face.
Exactly. So Carol tried to figure out who this person was and where they're getting their information from. She let this Alice person know that this was in the hands of the police and never got a response. So complete dead end. Really weird that this guy would send her this message in the first place, just messing with her. So when Christmas break was over, Amanda Todd went back to school feeling like a completely different person.
Can you imagine?
I can't imagine walking into a middle school after something like that.
I would be like, I need to be homeschooled from now on.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
It's terrifying.
She was now called the girl in the photo. And she was also welcomed back to school with some more nicknames, one in particular being Cam Whore. Constantly being asked questions by her peers about how often she did her peep shows, if she was making money as a porn star, and also when was the next reveal scheduled for. So
kids are brutal.
We have some nice children there. Shyla and Tessa, who remember were friends of Amanda, told Amanda not to worry. This whole thing is going to blow over. Middle school gossip and news is like a tumbleweed that never stops blowing. It wasn't going to be a forever thing. But Amanda knew that some huge damage was done, and she wasn't too sure of how it was going to die down.
Well, yeah, this is just the beginning. It just happened, and she has no idea how it's going to unfold.
Amanda said in one of her chats to a friend, "Now all I do is hide. I'm always scared of what's going to happen." And Amanda was right. The bullying from kids at school didn't die down.
Was there anyone around her, telling her, hey, you were manipulated, this isn't your fault?
No. Not that I could find, maybe.
Because she's just drowning in shame right now over this. Someone needs to be there telling her, hey, this person manipulated you. They were planning this. This was obviously premeditated for months.
Right.
And you were a victim.
I think more than that, people were bullying her to the point where Amanda ended up switching schools. She left the school she was at and went to Westview Secondary because of how unbearable it had become. In spring of 2011, when Amanda was in the car with her parents, she got a message from her phone from that mystery person, Tyler Boo. "He's back," is what she told her parents. And Tyler demanded 3 online shows again in order to not spread more blackmail.
So I'm guessing she blocked him before. Does he have her personal phone number, or?
This was mostly on Facebook Message, and he would like disappear.
He would
for a
make
while.
a new account then,
Right.
anytime he got blocked, or?
Yeah, but they never really said anything about blocking. It seemed like her parents were very like loose at this point, like not really there.
Well, yeah, how you can't be prepared to handle something like this, really, if you're not expecting it.
No, they did go to the police with this information, and they had previously about what had happened, obviously, when the police showed up at their house. But police were not taking this very seriously at the time, and there were no results.
They show up at 4 a.m., but they're not taking it seriously now.
Well, concern for her safety.
Oh, to make sure she wasn't kidnapped or something.
Yeah. So even at this new school that Amanda went to, once she got there, all the staff and the new friends she had made that were connected through Facebook were sent this topless photo again. It had been about
her new school?
Yeah, it had been about 6 months after the photo had initially been sent out, and this Tyler guy had left her alone. Now, once she's at a different school, boom, all the staff has the photo again, and all the students.
Who's this person putting in all this time to get the information of all the people at the school?
Mm-hmm.
And can you imagine after making this huge life change to run away from this and it all coming out again?
I know. Even with all this going on, Amanda did not stay off the websites that got her into this mess. She continued chatting with strangers, usually refusing to give them what they wanted. A few things go through my head. Number one, why are we not taking away her laptop as parents? Or making some firm rules about where it's going to be kept and where it's going to be used. Number two, I'm thinking, why didn't police take the laptop and do a search on the hard drive to see what was going on? Mm-hmm. In an interview, Carol said that she had wished the police would have gone through her laptop. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, I would have wished that too. Like, why was that not done? Very strange to me. Also, some listeners might be thinking it was stupid of Amanda to be going back on these websites. But remember, guys, she's only in 7th grade.
Yeah, it should be like people, adults should be the ones being like, hey, you're not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
You need to take a break.
She's a middle schooler. This is where she's getting attention. Maybe not the greatest, but it's better than the bullies in her school, like constantly throwing insults at her. Maybe she still felt flattered by the attention she was getting online. I just don't think she had the maturity to know the positive attention from the negative attention when it came to the internet. And also discovering her body changing and receiving these comments about it, I'm sure she was just way too caught up in it. Plus the lack of boundaries in the house. It's just not a good mixture.
No.
So Amanda did not stop making suggestive content on her live streams with strangers. You can see like clips of videos where she's like not twerking, but like really suggestively moving around and doing different things, and just like one of those hard to look at things.
Who are these creeps following this person and asking her to twerk at 12 years old?
There's a lot of them. And
I can understand why she gave into this, because it is addicting, especially when you're 12 years old. You are very self-conscious, like you mentioned at the beginning, and you're getting this positive attention. Mm-hmm. It's addicting, and why would she stop on her own? Like,
right, it's kind of like
she needs someone to step in here.
It's a cycle, because the worse she's getting bullied at school because of the topless photo, the more she's going to try to find acceptance online from people who are giving her different type of attention.
Yeah.
And then that's going to make more content for blackmail, So it just like keeps going in a circle.
Good analogy.
Amanda's depression kept getting worse and worse offline. She started indulging in alcohol, drugs, and she also started cutting herself. In October of 2011, the blackmail just got worse.
Is she still 12 at this point? Or is
it's October 2011.
This is 10 months later now.
So I think she's in 8th grade at this point.
So 13?
Yeah. Tyler Boo messaged Amanda, quote, "You already forgot who I am? The guy from last year who made you change schools? Got your door kicked in by the cops? Give me 3 shows and I will disappear forever. You know I won't stop until you give me those 3 shows."
Why would she be able to believe this guy?
She
After all
doesn't.
the stuff he's put her through.
That's why she's not giving him those 3 shows.
Like, what a ridiculous demand.
He went on to say, and no matter where she goes or who she talks to, he'll be there. That he's everywhere. And this is...
How?
He also says, "I am that crazy." Like, yuck.
That's scary. That makes me want to stop going on the internet.
I know. Carol kept and sent this message and others. She tried to keep a file of what was going on her child's laptop, at least the stuff that Amanda would show to her mom. She would send them to the RCMP, which stands for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. They really didn't have any answers, or more likely they just didn't care very much. They probably had a lot of other more serious cases going on, and they didn't prioritize this. They told Carol that Amanda needed to delete all of her social media, and that was it. Which, yeah, that does seem like a very good answer, but it didn't happen. So, there you go.
And I just wonder how much of the information that this Tyler Boo, was getting from just watching her live streams and videos. Like, I don't know.
Right. At some point, while Amanda was attending her new school, she got involved with a, quote, old guy friend. The two started messaging back and forth, and eventually they hooked up. This guy friend, who I know very little about and I couldn't find barely any information, had a girlfriend who was on vacation, but he let Amanda know that he really liked her. I think they were like somewhat the same age. A week later, this girlfriend found out about the two hooking up. Amanda said that she received a text message telling her to get out of school, and when she left the school, opened the doors, there was a group of students led by the boy's girlfriend surrounding her, and they were pretty much all there looking at her while the girlfriend said, "Look around, nobody likes you." Amanda's stunned that this is happening, and then a guy yelled, "Just punch her already." So the girlfriend of this great guy friend did. She threw Amanda to the ground and punched her several times. The kids that were surrounding the scene were filming it on their phones. Amanda said, "I was all alone and left on the ground." So Amanda recalls...
These are a bunch of 13-year-olds?
Yeah, middle schoolers.
Dude, I've said this before, but kids are scary.
I know.
Like, this is why they're not legally allowed to make decisions about anything, is because their brains aren't fully working.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we love and care about them, but they also do really dumb stuff. And it's scary.
Yeah, like I feel like this would be a very scary thing. I would be scared if 8th graders came up to me and started yelling at me. Amanda recalls getting up and running away from her teachers. The teachers had just started coming out of the school, and she ran. She rushed away, and she found a ditch and just laid there, trying to get away from the situation.
That's so sad.
Her dad was driving, trying to find her, and he did, and took her home. Well, Amanda felt so depressed. She said she just wanted to die.
Can you imagine after that, after getting beat up, feeling like you have to run away from your teachers?
I know.
Like, who you would think you would go to for help. But I suppose she just has so little trust for anyone in her real life at this point.
When it gets worse, when Amanda was home, she tried to end her life by drinking bleach. She was rushed to the hospital by ambulance, saying it was the worst pain that she has ever felt in her life, and her stomach was pumped and flushed, which I believe her. Like, the thought of drinking bleach sounds unbearable.
So unnatural to put in your body. I would imagine that would cause like permanent organ damage.
I know.
Having something like that in your body.
And isn't bleach kind of a
Poison?
acid? type, or kind of like acid.
Well, it's really corrosive
Yeah.
if it literally whitens clothes.
Yeah.
By
Well, when Amanda got home from the hospital, nothing had changed. In fact, the bullying had gotten even worse. People started posting on Facebook about her attempted suicide, saying things like, "She couldn't even get that right. I hope she's dead. And did you wash all the mud out of your hair yet?" Can you believe that?
why are these kids such? I can't even say the word I'm thinking
I know.
right now, but
These cruel kids also started to make memes of her. Some freeze frame photos of her with jugs of bleach in her hands. And put things like Amanda Todd bleach reviews. These are
this was
just
posted online.
yeah. Literally you can look up Amanda Todd bleach and it will pop up like these memes. They're still up. It's terrible.
They're still up.
They're still up.
These kids posted this 10 years ago and they never took it down.
No, there's tons. Like literally on Google Images.
That's really sad because I mean, obviously this is a true crime podcast and I have a feeling this is going somewhere even worse than what we've heard. And the fact that this stuff is still up is sickening.
Now, Amanda Todd moved. She had to literally move houses, and she switched schools again due to how bad this bullying was. No charges were pressed on the girl who punched her and assaulted her because Amanda said she just wanted to move on. She didn't want to make things worse. So, like, she begged not to press charges because she assumed that was just going to make the bullying even worse. Still, 6 months later, Amanda said that the memes and online jokes were still circulating the internet. There were still being new memes made up. One of the other memes that I just popped up in my outline, one said she should try a different bleach brand. Like, I can't believe that kids could be that cruel. I mean, they are. I mean, I do believe that because kids were super mean to me in middle school too, but
aren't any parents monitoring this social media stuff?
Right?
Like, no one noticed?
But then again, I feel like things were kind of different back then. Like, parents weren't quite aware of what was going on in the internet then.
I suppose.
I don't know.
The longer the internet's around, I feel like the more aware people are of everything. Like, so without something to learn from like this, how would you know?
Yeah, so I was in my outline I have right here. So Ryan, what do you think of the story so far? Do you have anything else that you want to add at this point?
No, I think I've been pretty vocal about my thoughts.
I mean,
so
this is a pretty well-known case. I'm really surprised that I don't remember it, but I'm thinking maybe I did hear about it when I was a kid because Amanda was born in 1996, so that's only 2 years after I was, almost to the day, because my birthday is November 17th. Hers is 27th.
That's weird.
Yeah.
What you said 96?
Yeah,
so
and I'm
she's
94.
2 years. And she was 12 in 2010? No, she was 14 in 2010.
Oh no! Pause.
We can just record a thing at the beginning that I can put in the beginning explaining that we got the ages wrong.
Okay. So this is where we're going to end this episode today on Amanda Todd. There's going to be a part 2, and it's going to be up ASAP for our Patreon members. We're going to discuss what sextortion is, which is literally the definition of what happens and what happened to Amanda Todd. What we can do about sextortion. We're going to talk about the help that you can get if you feel like you're in this situation of sextortion. And then there's something that we didn't really discuss. It's this podcast called The Daily Capper. It is mentioned in this case a couple of times. People that are the predators in sextortion refer to themselves as cappers. And there used to be this whole podcast called The Daily Capper where they would trade off information and different girls and the wins that they would receive from different girls, pretty much blackmail that they could use and swap out for their own enjoyment. It's really strange.
I'm having a hard time understanding that. Like, basically where they would share their...
It's where like different cappers would like submit their girls that they were working on and the type of blackmail that they got from those girls.
So basically where Tyler Boo would hang out.
Yeah. Tyler Boo and a ton of other creepy people.
Okay.
So I just think it's important to talk about this because I had no idea what sextortion was. In fact, I almost thought like that's not a real word.
Well, it makes sense because it's extortion, but you're trying to get sexual stuff.
Right.
I mean, it's manipulation.
Yeah. So with that, I think we're going to end on a cliffhanger.
All right. Well, part 2 of this episode will be up on Patreon probably at the same time this goes up. Mm-hmm. We're heading to record that right now so we can get 2 weeks in a row of our podcast published.
Yay, being ahead of schedule.
Yeah. Obviously, we've been struggling with keeping the episodes regular lately because, we need to work our other jobs and they've been very busy. But a great way to help support the podcast is to go join our Patreon. And like we said, part 2 will be available over there right now. So if you are able to help support, it would really help us out a lot and mean a lot. And yeah, you get some perks. There's over 20 premium episodes over there right now just for patrons. So if you've been thinking about it and you just need a little push, there's 20 episodes over there.
Ooh.
That's where we're going to wrap it up. So
perfect.
You have anything else to say, Rosie?
I don't think so. I think I'm ready to dive into part 2.
All right. Well, we'll see you over there.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Talk to you next time.
Bye.